So, imagine to my surprise, I first wake up this morning, and the first thing I see is this. PlayStation is ending physical games as Sony confirms digital-only future beginning in 2028. I honestly am not shocked that this is happening.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
But it's still a pain with the way the world's been going, trying to ditch physical media. It was more in a matter of time that companies were going to be ditching the physical media platform. And honestly, this is so freaking stupid. This is the first time of me looking at this article, so we'll look at it together. This comes from geeksandgamers.com. Shout out to the Geeks and Gamers. Shout out to the 199. So let's go ahead and get into this. PlayStation is ending physical games as Sony confirms digital-only future beginning in 2028. So we got 2 years before the end of physical media for PlayStation. And this honestly makes no sense since Sony's going in all digital, because a few days ago, Sony removed 500 movie titles, and they removed these titles from users' libraries. So, Sony, what the hell is going on? If you're going to be ditching the physical media and going all digital, but yet you got rid of all these movie titles and took them out of our libraries, we're talking about big movies like Terminator 2, Shawshank Redemption. We're talking about big name titles. And they just straight up just removed them from our libraries. I guess because they lost the license, which goes back to the old saying is, you're going to own nothing and like it. This honestly pisses me off. All right, anyways, let's get into this. So Sony Interactive Entertainment has officially confirmed what many gamers feared would eventually happen. Physical PlayStation game discs are coming to an end. In a major announcement published on the PlayStation blog, so this is 100% confirmed. No. Wait. Sony revealed that beginning in January 2028, all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be distributed exclusively in digital format. That means no more Blu-ray game disc for first-party or third-party releases after the cutoff date. Instead, every new PlayStation game will be sold digitally through the PlayStation Store and other retailers offering digital codes. So not only are we seeing the end of physical media, we're also seeing the end of a format.
Of course!
Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray are probably going to be coming to an end. This timeline sucks. This timeline freaking sucks. The announcement marks one of the biggest shifts in PlayStation's history and signals the end of an era that stretches back nearly 30 years to the original PlayStation. Yeah, my first reaction on this is retarded.
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
Sony officially ends physical PlayStation games. Sony made the announcement in a statement from Sid Sherman, Senior Director of Sony Interactive Entertainment Content Communications. You guys are freaking morons, but that's my opinion. As consumer preferences and the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical disc to digital, you don't want us to own anything. I get it. We all get it. You will own nothing and love it. Well, I don't love it. Physical game disc production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028. So, do you know what that tells me? You got 2 years, because within 2028, you will no longer own your games. You will no longer own your movies. You will no longer own your books.
Oh, God damn it.
Everything is going to the way of digital. I hate this. I freaking hate this. The company emphasized the games released before January 2028 will not be affected for now, meaning existing physical releases will continue to function, and games launching before that date can still receive physical editions. Sony also framed the move as a response to changing consumer behavior. Again, why? I understand that everyone wants to go all digital, But me as a physical collector, this pisses me off. This pisses me off.
Uh-oh.
Physical games have traditionally offered several advantages over the digital purchases. The ability to buy used games at lower prices. Yep. Lending games to friends and family. Yeah, never did that anyways, but it's still, that's, some people can't afford to buy games very much to where they can only purchase 1 or 2 games per year. The way that the prices of games have been going, I understand that was the best way to play a game is to borrow it from a friend or a family member. Trading or reselling games after finishing them. Well, goodbye GameStop, because that was your mantra, was to buy and sell used games. Say goodbye to your profit, because you are screwed.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Maintaining ownership even if the online storefront eventually closed. Yeah, the key word there, ownership. You purchase a digital game, you are not purchasing the game, you are purchasing the lease to operate and play the game. Once that game studio closes, once they stop doing updates, you can no longer play that game. And eventually, that game will be removed from your library. Just ask Ubisoft. Just ask Sony what they did with those movie titles. Digital-only purchases eliminate virtually all of those benefits. Yep. Once purchased, games remain tied to a user's PlayStation account until the studio shuts down and they don't update the game anymore. It will go away. I'm just taking time for it to let it sink in. This is not going to be sustainable. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to boycott this decision. Either that, or, I mean, we're going to have a lot of people decide they want to sell the 7 Seas, if you know what I mean. Then again, this could be the reason why they're going all digital, due to the fact is people pirating games and pirating movies is still ongoing. And they're probably trying to find a way to mitigate this, but at the same time, you're screwing over a lot of your customers. You're screwing over a lot of the fan base. Then again, big companies like Sony, Microsoft, really don't give a flying flip about its customers. They only care about their investors and how much money they can get. So Sony's announcement comes as the company also revealed plans to sunset support for older PlayStation storefronts. Earlier today, Sony confirmed that the PlayStation Store for the PS3 and the PS Vita will ultimately close globally in 2027. That, honestly, I thought has already happened. I didn't know the PS Store for the PS3 and PS Vita was still open. I thought they ended support for that, leaving many players questioning how digital preservation will work in the decades ahead. Spoiler alert, it won't. All right, so here's the big question. If physical media is going away and everything's going digital, honestly, you're not spending money to manufacture the Blu-ray discs, and you're not spending the time and money to format your game, your media onto this disc. So that's less money you have to spend to distribute physical media. With that being said, you would think that's going to cost less in production and materials, then maybe the game prices will decrease going all digital. Press X to doubt, because I'm doubting like crazy. What happens to game prices? Here we go. One of the biggest questions raised by Sony's decision is whether gamers will actually save money once physical games disappear. No.
You serious?
No. That's not going to happen, because greedy corporations are going to be greedy corporations. In theory, digital-only distribution should reduce the cost of bringing games to market. In theory, but bigwigs and investors over at Sony, over at Xbox, over at any major tech corporation do not have a thing that you and I know as common sense. So, publishers will no longer have to manufacture Blu-ray discs. I just covered that. Print cover art, again, just cover that. Or produce any plastic cases, package products, ship them around the world, or split revenue with brick and mortar retailers. And that's probably another thing that's happened is they're trying to get rid of these small mom and pop shops with new games. But the thing is, what's going to happen with this is you are going to cause a massive influx of retro games. People are not going to take this bullshit, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to be like, you know what? Hey, you can forget about your new game. I really don't care. I really don't care about your game. I'm not going to spend $80 or $90 on a brand new game that I may only play once and let it sit in my backlog. Speaking of backlog, I'm going to go back into my backlog of 300 to 400 games. And you know what? I'm going to have time to play those because I might as well play them now, because if I don't, you're going to take them away before I even get a chance to play. So whether consumers actually see those savings is another matter. We're not going to see those savings because, like I said, big tech industries, big tech companies are going to be greedy as hell. They're not going to put these games at a discount. Hell, Sony even said that the PlayStation 6 is not going to be sold at a cost. That the rumored price of your materials alone for the PlayStation 6 is going to be $960. So that's going to be rounded up to $1,000 system if they decide they're not going to sell that at a loss. I don't even want to go into this anymore. I don't even want to go into more of the details. I'm just ready to give you my 2 cents on this. This is stupid. This is, again, greedy companies are going to be greedy companies. So the games aren't going to drop down to $60 or $50. Games are going to be even more expensive. Look at Rockstar. Look at Grand Theft Auto 6. $80 game base, $100 game ultimate with all the extra content. And that's another thing. There are side missions and shops that you can't access in Grand Theft Auto unless you buy the $100 version. That game, that content is behind a paywall that's supposed to be in the game at the beginning. So Grand Theft Auto digitally is a $100 game. The Temu cost of that is $80. And there's no physical media for that game at all. So what's the point? It's not going to save us money. It's just going to tell you, hey, you don't own our property. You do not own our games. This is our property. We own this. We will let you play it. We will charge you $80 to $100 to let you play this. And then after a few years, when you least expect it, we're going to take it out of your library. Again, ask Ubisoft how that worked out. Ask Ubisoft how that's working out for them now. They're probably one of the big major game companies that's going to get shut down in the next year or two. Because right now, we are going into a second gaming crash. We have big name studios shutting down. We have studios that are cutting their employees by half. Look at Bungie. I did a video on that, and they basically got rid of half of their staff. They went from 800 employees down to 400. And those 400 employees, from what I've been hearing and what people are trying to report, is that they are unnecessary employees to the company, that they don't make a difference or much of a difference. Basically, my 2 cents on this is a very dumb move forward. And honestly, this is all Rockstar's fault.
I went from happy to angry. Skip said, now I feel like kicking his ass.
Rockstar's the one that decided, hey, we're going to take the biggest game of the last 10 years, the biggest game ever, Grand Theft Auto, and we are going to take our newest installment of the franchise, and we're not giving you a physical copy. We're going to go all digital, and we're going to charge you $100 for it. This is Rockstar's dumbass decision. And because of that, all the other companies are like, hey, that's a good idea. Well, retards are going to be retards.
Someone stupid get my way!
Apologize for the dumb slur, but this whole thing is retarded. Okay, so here's the thing though. Sony and Microsoft, they're not selling their games cheaper. Nintendo, on the other hand, their games are $10 cheaper if you buy them digital. They actually give you an incentive to purchase them digitally. We're going to make them cheaper. Like prime example, the new Star Fox that just came out. that game is $60 physical. But Nintendo said, hey, we will sell you the game if buy it at our store on the Nintendo eShop. It will be $49.99. It will be $10 cheaper if you buy it digitally. And that's why Nintendo's not getting a whole bunch of backlash. But dumbass companies like Sony and Xbox are getting backlash to hell and high water. So Nintendo's doing it right. Sony, Xbox, why don't you learn something from Nintendo? I mean, they've been in business longer than both of y'all have been combined. And they're trying to make it to where everyone can afford their games. So why don't you learn from the masters instead of being completely money greedy assholes who have to appease money greedy asshole investors? Why don't you just actually listen to the customers? But then again, that's some common sense that you don't have, or do you refuse to have? Because it's too easy to be like, hey, we'll make more money if we make our digital games a little bit cheaper. But you won't. And this is the reason why we're going into a second gaming crash. And this is the reason why big name studios are having to cut a lot of their unnecessary employees. Let's just say that. I mean, there is a word for it, but I'm not going political on it. At least not yet. Anyways, that's all I got on the subject. If you have any comments, let me know. Leave them down below. Hit the like button, sub. And then, till then, I will catch all of y'all later.